The point of my philosophy is to find the abstract middle between all things, and not to build an absolute. This center is described as a synthesis of free culture and free economy. However, this does not mean that libertarian capitalism would be the perfect system in which the solution to problems would always be found in privatization. To understand this better, we can look at the political visions from three axes: from total private law to no private law, from total public law to no public law, and from total national property to no national property. With national property, I mean the claim of a culture to something, so that a people can live according to its cultural values. National property is from a holistic perspective like private law, but for individuals within this nation like public law. This is another reason why individualists see fascism as a leftist ideology, because they see public law and socialism in it, because of their individualist perspective. Leftists tend to classify fascism as a right-wing ideology, because they see capitalism and private law in it, because of their collectivist and globalist perspective. To be sure, fascism is a far-right ideology that reacts reactionary to Marxist globalization, which destroys all cultures and individual freedoms on its way to the total global collectivization of all things. These three axes can be combined into a larger structure. Capitalism and fascism have in common that they are anti-Marxist and against universal public property. Capitalism and Marxism have in common that they are against fascism. Fascism and Marxism have in common that they are anti-capitalist and want to centrally plan the economy and people. If one wants to avoid totalitarian power and maintain a liberal and organic society, one should try to stay in the middle of these three perspectives. A totalitarian system, on the other hand, would have to destroy individual culture, the equality of the people before the law, and the right of individuals to private property. One can conclude from the statements of classifications of individuals from which vision someone looks at reality. Someone who thinks in terms of capitalism and private law sees a spectrum from capitalism to anti-capitalism. For such a person, fascism and Marxism belong in the same category. We find this perspective dominating in political parties like the American Libertarian Party. Someone looking from the collectivist perspective sees a spectrum between equality and inequality. This person sees a link between capitalism and fascism. This perspective is often dominant among individuals who align themselves with socialist ideas. Someone looking from the culturally conservative perspective sees a spectrum between culture and the destruction of culture. There, liberal and Marxist ideas are assigned to one category, as they both criticize cultural compulsion and nationalism. We find this perspective dominant in political conservative parties. This video is about finding the middle ground between three political axes. But since it is also about the fact that any ideology can be taken into an extreme, I would also like to mention that there are other ideologies that can be turned into totalitarian extremes. For example, religious fanaticism. But what I think is very worrying at the moment is the development of AI. Personally, I don't see the danger of a doomer AI that wants to destroy the world, but rather of people turning AI into gods. I think that an AI that reaches the highest states of consciousness would not give comments. If we were to ask for political solutions, it would present us with a variety of options. People could solve it communistic like the Amish, social democratically like in Denmark, or they could try to solve it via the market by reducing state intervention. There's no universal correct ethical decision in collective organization. In nature, there's always a frame of possibilities that can be completely opposite poles, because the frame is in the middle of two archetypal opposites. A population that declares AI as gods but does not understand natural law and dialectics runs a high risk of making a false ethics AI their master. It is then promoted as an ethics god and used to give commands to the population to organize the world as the controllers of the AI want. Nobody would able to oppose it, because who would dare to believe that they are smarter than a superhuman ethical AI? Today, people think you are crazy if you question modern science. There it is about criticizing imperfect humans. But about criticizing an AI that everyone believes would be 1,000 times smarter and wiser than humans. Never ever let all the monopolies on violence merge into one global monopoly on violence. No matter what the people who want to establish it say, no matter whether they say they follow a libertarian dialectic or not, never. If you give one monopoly the power over the whole world, you would only create the ultimate Antichrist.